journey towards knowledge, cultivation, and the true understanding beyond Somerset Maugham's The Painted Veil. Some readers might be thinking, I lack sufficient knowledge or cultivation to understand books, or perhaps feel that I need stories that are immediately helpful to my life rather than complicated narratives. However, the books we read are not merely vessels for difficult knowledge. Sometimes they serve as mirrors reflecting our own selves, and at other times, they become warm mentors offering profound wisdom we might never have considered. Today, I would like to introduce Somerset Maugham's novel The Painted Veil, which precisely exemplifies such a book. Rather than elaborate theories or profound philosophies, this work provides deep insights through deeply human stories that readers from all backgrounds can empathize with and learn from. This book is not especially written for those who feel they have not accumulated much knowledge or cultivation. Paradoxically, however, I believe it can resonate most deeply with such readers. This is because The Painted Veil explores the truth hidden beneath the surface of life and the essence of humanity itself, conveying a message that outward status, wealth, or academic credentials do not define a person's true nature. Through this book, readers will discover hope that everyone is capable of understanding the essence of life and achieving genuine enlightenment. 1. Fleeting desires and their consequences. The portrayal of Kitty. The protagonist of The Painted Veil is Kitty, a young woman who is beautiful, charming, and a prominent figure in Hong Kong's social circles. On the surface, Kitty's life appears to be without flaw. She is married to Walter Fane, a respected bacteriologist, and leads a stable life. However, her inner world is deeply hollow. She is captivated only by superficial glamour, fleeting pleasures, and trivial desires rather than seeking genuine love or deep fulfillment. To her, marriage becomes an escape and a means to attain social status, and her husband, Walter, is perceived as dull and boring for not expressing his emotions openly. Kitty's inner emptiness soon manifests in her actions. She falls into an adulterous relationship with Charles Townsend, a Hong Kong government official. Townsend, with his charm and humor, offers Kitty the superficial pleasures she craves. Kitty mistakenly believes she has found real love in this relationship. However, Walter becomes aware of his wife's infidelity and is consumed by profound betrayal. He presents Kitty with two choices: either Townsend divorces his wife and marries Kitty, or they both go to Meitanfu, a remote Chinese village ravaged by cholera. From this point, we gain our first significant lesson. The things we pursue, glamour, fleeting satisfaction, and the approval of others, are often fragile and transient. Kitty fails to consider the consequences of her actions, driven only by her desires. However, these desires ultimately lead to devastating losses. This is not just Kitty's story, it reflects our own lives. At times, we may chase fleeting pleasures or the approval of others, losing more valuable things or making irrevocable mistakes. Here, the author powerfully illustrates how crucial our choices are and the profound consequences they can bring. 2. Awakening in the midst of suffering. Kitty's revelation in Meitanfu. When Kitty learns that Charles Townsend has no intention of divorcing his wife, she is forced to accompany Walter to Meitanfu. This journey becomes a pivotal turning point in her life. Meitanfu is a stark contrast to the glittering world of Hong Kong. It is a hell of death and suffering. The village is ravaged by cholera, with the worst hygienic conditions and an environment where even the most basic needs for survival are difficult to meet. Here, Kitty begins to reflect on her own life. Stripped of her luxurious dresses, parties, and social gatherings, she confronts her superficial existence. Initially repulsed and frightened by everything, her perspective gradually shifts. Walter dedicates himself to fighting against cholera, sacrificing his sleep, risking his life to treat patients, and persisting in his research despite exhaustion. The selfless and altruistic nature of Walter shocks and awakens Kitty. She realizes how deeply she had misunderstood and underestimated him, as well as how superficially she had lived. In Meitanfu, there are nuns who run an orphanage, living selflessly even amid poverty and disease. Kitty volunteers to help them, doing simple yet meaningful tasks like washing the children's clothes, feeding them, and caring for the sick. Through this process, Kitty first experiences the joy of giving and understands the true value of love. Moved by the nun's compassion and the children's innocent smiles, something begins to change within her. This is the moment when the painted veil is unveiled. What exactly is this veil? It represents the prejudices, desires, vanity, and illusions that cloud our vision of the world. In the extreme conditions of Métanfu, Kitty gradually removes the veil. She realizes how foolish she was to focus only on appearance and understands where true love and value lie. Through the ironic situation of discovering the inherent beauty of humanity and the true meaning of life in a place of suffering and despair, the author conveys a powerful message. True understanding does not come from comfort and ease, but often from the most painful moments. 3. Pain, growth, and a new beginning. Kitty's uncertain future. Kitty's time in Métanfu brings her great transformation but also leaves deep scars. Walter, in the process of caring for cholera patients, contracts the disease himself and eventually passes away. His death causes Kitty immense grief and guilt. She is tormented by the fact that she lost the opportunity to express her true remorse or to love him properly. After Walter's death, Kitty returns to Hong Kong, now pregnant with his child. Upon returning, she realizes she can no longer return to her previous life. Townsend still attempts to seduce her, but she is no longer deceived by his charm. She now understands how shallow her past self was and how empty Townsend's lifestyle has been. The novel concludes with Kitty taking steps toward a new life. She returns to China with her father, hoping to give her unborn child a life that is more genuine and meaningful than her own. While her future remains uncertain, having lost much and carrying an inescapable sense of guilt, she is no longer the foolish Kitty she once was. Through pain and loss, she has grown and discovered the true value of life. Thus, The Painted Veil does not offer a simple happy ending. It acknowledges the reality that life consists of continuous pain, loss, and uncertainty. Yet it also demonstrates the resilience of the human spirit and how one can find their true self amidst suffering. Kitty's story suggests that our mistakes and the pain they cause are never in vain. They can be the foundation for our growth and wisdom. 4. A book that offers wisdom beyond knowledge and cultivation. As previously mentioned, The Painted Veil can have a special significance for those who feel they lack knowledge or cultivation. This is because the book explores universal emotions and experiences shared by all humanity, not requiring specialized knowledge. Understanding human nature through Kitty, we see human fragility, desire, and selfishness. At the same time, through Walter and the nuns, we discover noble values like dedication, love, and forgiveness. Reading this book is ultimately a profound journey into understanding what it means to be human. This human wisdom and life cultivation are essential for navigating both social interactions and family relationships. The meaning of suffering and growth. Kitty's suffering in Métanfu symbolizes the adversities we all face in life. We all experience failure, frustration, and pain. However, this book shows that such pain not only does not break us but can make us stronger. It can broaden our perspectives and help us discover the true meaning of life. Wisdom to resist superficial impressions. Modern society often emphasizes outward appearances and material success, just as Kitty's early life does. Yet, she eventually learns that all these are merely veils. The book teaches us that true value lies within and that resisting the illusion of superficial appearances is essential wisdom. This wisdom is crucial for us to maintain our own center amidst materialism and a competitive society. Expanding empathetic understanding. Reading a novel means entering someone else's life and experiencing their emotions. By indirectly experiencing Kitty's struggles and realizations, Walter's loss and dedication, and the nun's sacrifices, we cultivate empathy. This empathy is more precious than any knowledge and is essential for forming better relationships and making the world warmer. In this way, The Painted Veil does not aim to instill intellectual superiority or teach complex theories. Instead, it candidly reveals the truth of life and the essence of human nature, encouraging us to reflect on our own lives and move forward in a better direction. The Painted Veil clearly shows that reading a book can be an exciting journey, comparable to watching a movie, and that unexpected insights can be gained along the way. Conclusion: courage to remove the veil of your life. The painted veil raises profound questions for us. What veil are you wearing in your life? What is obscuring your true self? And do you have the courage to remove it? Even those who feel they lack knowledge or cultivation can find depth in this book. Through it, they may gain insight into the complexity of human relationships, reflect on their own inner world, and experience a valuable moment of self-discovery. Reading is not a difficult task. It is simply entering another person's story and connecting it with your own. In this process, we discover new parts of ourselves and gain a broader understanding of the world. Somerset Maugham's The Painted Veil is a masterpiece that delicately portrays the joys and sorrows of life through the tragic love and painful growth of a woman. I sincerely hope that through this book, you can remove the veil concealing your life, face your true self, and find a more meaningful direction in life. The joy of reading and the depth of understanding gained from life are not exclusive to any particular group, they are open to everyone. Now is the perfect time to pick up The Painted Veil and begin your own journey. You will surely not regret it.